These seats are comical.
I know. Well, they loosen people up.
Yeah, of course.
But if you're uncomfortable, I can give you a real seat.
No, he looks great in it.
Nobody's objected. I'm always kind of surprised. And the bigger you are, the more ridiculous it is. If you're breaking your pain.
I'm gonna put this on your head.
Yeah.
Excellent. No hair to mess up. That's perfect.
No.
I'm getting there myself. All right.
We have pizza coming if you want to come up for air and have a slice.
Let me know about your volumes.
I wouldn't deny it, yeah.
How's the volume in your... Do you want... Hold on.
Good.
Just keep this back a little bit.
Oh, okay, I moved it forward.
No, that's fine.
I don't know how these... This is my first time with a real headpiece.
Really?
Yeah, we use these because they're
like them,
broadcast quality.
Yeah. So your voice sounds more rich.
Yeah. Barbara, look at me for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And how's everyone's volume? You guys comfortable with your volumes?
Yeah, our own voice. I don't really hear myself, so I guess that's good, right?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear
How's that, Barbara, now?
Yeah, that's good. Better, yeah.
How about you, Tank?
Good.
Okay.
All right, we're rolling.
You gotta picture this for a minute. I'm sitting here with a guy who's got a face that looks like a dead ringer for my football brother Marty.
Marty Lyons?
No, not Marty Lyons. Nobody famous. Just high school football.
Oh, okay.
But terrifying to look at.
Whoa.
And a guy that looks like he works out probably maybe 3 or 4 times a day for his entire life, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
What a hunk. I haven't had a hunk like this in my office a long time. He calls himself George Resch, but you probably know him as Tank Sinatra.
Yeah, I'm available for hire, by the way.
For hire
come
for
every
what?
day. I'll just come here and hang out if you want to hunk it.
You know what? I would pay anything for that, just to feel really happy with myself every day. I think your wife might object, though, right?
She knows I got to do what I got to do.
But for those few people who might not know Tank Sinatra, get to know him. I'm going to get to know him better. I've been admiring him for months, kind of reading every little meme he sends out, and his sense of humor is hysterical. But it always has a serious hook in it as well, and very relatable. But I'm going to have him talk about his own sense of what a meme is in just a moment. But you should know that he runs an impressively funny and successful meme account. And listen to the number, with over 2 million followers, 2 million that is. And I know we're going to learn a lot from him today. You are probably going to hear from, in fact, I'm sure, probably the most expert person in the meme category. So you live on social media. Start us off by you telling us, what's a meme?
A meme is it's just a quickly digested little bit of information. Usually it's humorous. It's come to expand now. You can see memes of all kinds, political, business, inspirational, whatever. Everything is a meme. But it started off with humor, and that's why I got into it, because I love comedy. I've always loved comedy. So, I was on Reddit, and they've morphed over the years. There was, the impact font style where there was only 10 images to choose from, and you could write a caption at the top and the bottom, and it had to make sense immediately.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a long time ago, right?
2009, 2010. And I just liked the challenge of having to say it and say it fast and say it good and say it quick. You have 140 characters,
and it's over.
To get the point across. Yeah, there's no setup, no punchline. It's just everything is self-contained. Sometimes you miss, but when you hit, I've come across many good memes in my life, and I can remember them. I remember being in bed laughing, and it's usually when I get on a roll of some sort, where I'm in a rabbit hole of some particular topic or on a particular page, because they're not funny at the outset, because usually you're looking at them on the subway, or you're in the middle of something, and you just glance at it, and you kind of recognize that relates to you, but when you can really dig into them, they become very funny and engaging.
But how do you even choose what you're going to make fun of? What are you going to make pop a joke at, really? What do you, just online for hours looking at good photos and getting an idea, or do you come up with a concept and then try to put a visualization and words to it?
It's both. Sometimes I'll come up with the concept first.
Now give me an example, just so I could picture it with you.
I'm just trying to think of, you just go throughout your day, as I do stand-up also, so as a comedian, you're cursed with this sensitivity and awareness that it hurts to be alive sometimes, but it also allows you to make jokes because you're constantly absorbing your environment.
Is it a part cynical view of life?
Oh, yeah.
Like to see the shade of any situation?
Yeah. You just have to be able to pick out, like Colin Quinn said, if you want to be funny, don't talk about what you think is funny, talk about what pisses you off. And then people will laugh at that because they'll relate to it, because laughter is all tension relief. So if you can create a little tension and then relieve it, all of a sudden you're funny.
Okay, so every one of your memes, I would say, in fact, without exception, is funny. But
Humorous, yeah.
Humorous, I guess.
That's
is
generous.
A good, yeah. No, they're terrific. They're terrific. But I also noted that when I actually looked at the copy you write, there's not a single wasted word. It's tight. That just doesn't happen coming out of your head into your fingers, and it happens. Do you edit again and again and again to get that tight copy?
No, so it's if in stand-up you have to, because usually you have a premise and then you have to trim it down. But with the memes, it's weird because it either comes into my head immediately or I cannot write.
But what triggers it? You're online, you're looking at something, you're walking on the street, you see a guy, he reminds you of a clown, and go, I'm going to do one on a clown, let me find a clown photo.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, it's also, memes have become a way to make a commentary on something that's going on in society that's absurd or ridiculous. So usually I'm paying attention to, not so much the news, but more like the underbelly of the news, like the Twitter trending page I'll look at to see what's going on. Or something arises out of the most recent one with the Baby Yoda from the Mandalorian. There's the amount of images, and the picture of the Baby Yoda is so expressive that you can't help but conjure up memories of being a child, insecure, wanting something, and you see that in their face, and then you just think back to your life, and you have to be able to extract experiences from your life and then bring them into the present moment and make them work with the image.
And be entirely sincere.
Yeah.
That. Would you say that's basic to every great meme, that it can't be put on, it's got to be genuinely yourself?
Yeah, I'd say that's basic to any expression of creativity at all, is sincerity. You have to know who you are, first of all, which is very difficult for some people, and then you have to be okay with it, and then you have to be okay with expressing it to other people. So there's a lot to it. I mean, people think that memes just originate out of nowhere, and they do. Essentially, in a moment, you'll see a picture, you come up with a caption, but you have to have lived a full life to be able to pull on that. Like, I have people who, I'm 39, and people are still surprised that I'm not like some teenage kid.
Because of your sense of humor, the way you express yourself?
Yeah, but I mean, I had no experiences when I was a teenage kid. All my memes would have been about, I don't know, sports and video games. Who knows?
Yeah, probably.
Now I have kids, I have a wife, I've had a bunch of different jobs and careers and experiences, so that all goes into that little concise caption.
And what did you do? You just jumped out and started your business for yourself after a few years of doing it?
Yeah.
And where did you find the courage? You have, like you said, you have a wife, you have 2 kids at home. I think you also have a stepchild at home, right?
Yeah, 13-year-old stepdaughter.
That's a lot of people to be responsible for. You just decided, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to quit my job, my day job.
I waited, I think, an appropriate amount of time to monetize the page. I waited till I got verified, and I waited till I got to 1 million followers, so that the offers that were coming in were different. It looked like I might be able to sustain myself on them, on that income. And I also, I don't know, I had a great situation. I worked for a friend of mine in Long Island selling fence for a Victorian fence. Great guy, great company, and he said to me, and this would be like the 3rd time that I've left the company. He said, "Bro, if it doesn't work out, just come back."
Wow, great
so,
boss.
Yeah, that little, and
and you must have been a great worker, or that wouldn't have happened.
I sold a lot of fence, yeah.
You could sell me on anything. I'm sitting here thinking, I feel like I'm with a salesman, not a writer.
I love sales.
Not even a comic, but a salesman.
I love sales.
Yeah.
I just like, he was the one that taught me that sales is a transference of energy, and if you can get somebody excited about something, then you've won. It's not a game, you're not trying to manipulate them, but the counter to that is if you can't get them excited about something,
you don't have a deal.
You can't influence people, there's no way to.
But don't you think sales plays a big part in how successful you are in your business now?
Yeah.
And how does that play out? You know what's going to resonate with people, you know what's going to have the common touch, what's relatable, and so you could sell people on really liking what you're putting out there?
Yeah, and it's also me, so again, you have to know who you are, be okay with it, and be okay with showing it. A lot of meme pages are not okay with showing who they are on the page because you're met with such vitriol sometimes. People are so angry that you've interrupted their meme experience to show them who you are, and you gotta have pretty thick skin to be able to get through the first couple of rounds of comments and people unfollowing and leaving. I'm not here to see you, I'm here for memes. It's like, all right, well then you're not here for me then, And I've made multiple attempts over the last 4 years to turn the followers into fans of mine, and I'm still working on that.
Who wouldn't like you? I mean, you're so charming. I just want to sit and not even ask you questions. Just stare at you and listen all day.
That's what we're doing. We're getting to know each other.
Yeah, we are.
That's it.
Yeah.
She's really good. She understands that, I will not give up on something until it's absolutely a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually by the time that happens, there's something else brewing. So it's never really dead. Nothing's ever really dead.
Yeah. It sounds to me like, George, you're a phenomenal entrepreneur.
I like
Absolutely.
creating, yeah.
Yes, you do. Not going to say anything else?
No.
I thought you had another thought coming. Okay, I wouldn't give you the space for that.
No, I felt that. When I was growing up, I always felt like I was never going to be able to make a living for myself, and I was going to struggle and suffer. My father was a worker. He wasn't an entrepreneur. He worked for the Long Island Railroad, made a great living, great job, very secure, but there was no model for making it. And I was just saying before the podcast, Shark Tank taught me more about business than college, real life experience, because I watched it with my wife. We still watch it every time it's on.
Yeah.
There's so much valuable information in there, and I'm sure you hear this a lot.
We
right?
hear it mostly from young people, not so much from guys that are usually successful in business. Usually they want to be a big shot. You're not one of them.
No, I don't want to be a big shot.
Yeah.
I like working. I have a valuable...
I think you like proving even more than working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like sharing my life with the world, and I think that whether you are really into shoes and you want to be a shoemaker, or you're great with bricks, like I have skills. I often say that my skill 20 years ago was worthless. Like I don't know what I would be doing if I was 20 years older.
Really?
I'd probably be in sales of some sort, but putting captions over pictures is not something that was,
Never.
My high school counselor was like, you should look into that. It didn't even exist.
I'm surprised you ultimately did look into it. And what got you started there? I don't think you really said that.
It was a natural, it wasn't on purpose. It was just like, I've always had a job, and then I've had my creative outlet. So when I was working in restaurants in the early 2000s, I had blogs, and then I had a video blog in like 2008 or 2009. Then,
and again, without an objective to capture people, it was simply to entertain yourself and to have an outlet for your creativity.
Yeah, it's all about the outlet.
Yeah.
Because I have all this pent-up energy and creativity. You can only put so much of it into a restaurant job.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I mean, I would entertain my customers. I wasn't a boring server at all, but I couldn't really sit with them for, I had to get their food. I had to get their drink. So it was like I had a second to get their attention, make them like me. And that's one thing, I guess, that an old boss taught me. He goes, if you become likable, all the mistakes become a lot more excusable. So if something doesn't come out from the kitchen on time, or you forget something, if they like you, they'll forgive you. If they don't like you, they're looking for a problem.
Absolutely.
And they
in
will
sales,
find
if they
it.
like you, they'll buy from you.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you've experienced your entire life.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, you're very open about subjects that people generally are not open about, like your alcoholism.
Yeah.
You don't drink in how many years?
17 years.
And what gives you the courage to just get out there and talk about it with people? That's amazing to me. Because most people I know, they hide that until you become their closest friend.
Yeah.
And yet you're right out there on it.
I think it's more beneficial to the person who needs to hear it than it is embarrassing for me.
Well put, man. Is that true?
Yeah. So I know there's people out there that are struggling, and I know that they need to feel like they're not alone, so I share it. And whatever it does to... I'm sweating.
You want a tissue?
Do you have one?
Yeah, we sure do. What the hell? We have a tissue box in the other bathroom. I don't think there's one right here.
I know that when I was struggling and I found out, like, let's say Robert Downey Jr. was in recovery, I was like, wow, he's killing it. Maybe I can have a nice life.
So you were inspired by that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah,
so
because it's like...
What kind of feedback do you get from people? You made me quit drinking, I believe it now, blah, blah, blah.
But it's more of like, I think that anything bad, good, bad, or indifferent that happens in your life serves to help you relate to other human beings, which I think is what we're all here for. I think we're all here to bond with each other and feel like we're part of something. And usually the deeper, the darker secret you share, the more of a bond you make with somebody. So people don't typically bond over the sun, the sunshines and...
Yes, you're right.
I mean, a little bit of like...
Well, misery loves company, as they say.
Yeah, but on the other side, it's like misery needs company. Like when people are feeling down and out, they need to know that it's not just them, because the isolation and the uniqueness of suffering is just another thing piling on top of you. If you are suffering and struggling, to know that it's not just you. I mean, it's literally every human being that's ever lived from the beginning of time till the end of time is going to have some kind of struggles. So people tend to gravitate towards somebody who has the same struggles as them. Alcoholism and drug addiction is a killer. So if you are, same thing as depression, these things that are like really heavy for people to deal with. I think you're only as sick as your secrets, and when you find out that somebody else has shared a secret with you, it kind of gives you permission to be who you are.
God, I've never heard that. Is that your expression? You're only as sick as your secrets?
No, I mean, nothing I say.
Take credit for it. It looks so natural to you. Why not, man? I would say, I'm going to post it and put your name on it. What the hell?
Oh, man, that's a lot of pressure.
No, I don't think so at all. So how did you come up with Tank Sinatra?
Oh, that was a flash of inspiration. I wish I could
It's a great one. If someone had said, I'm going to call myself Tank Sinatra, I would say it better be about music.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not.
What made you even think that would be a good idea? And did people tell you it was a stupid idea?
No,
what do you think? Well, now, of course, a great idea. But
that's true.
Did your wife at least tell you the truth? Say, what a stupid idea?
I don't even think she noticed that I changed my Instagram name for like 6 months.
Oh,
she didn't even know. Instagram, and I guess things in general, need to have a catchy, memorable hook. There's another page called My Therapist Says that grew very quickly right around the same time that I came out. And I remember thinking, why are they growing so fast? And I was like, their name is like a cliffhanger.
Yes.
My Therapist Says
Absolutely.
What? It's like a ... You got to go find out and see what My Therapist said. But there was nothing there. It's just memes. So Tank Sinatra is recognizable, obviously. And it's a little like tongue-in-cheek. I'm big. I'm obviously very tank-like. I have blue eyes. Not old yet.
You have pretty eyes like him. That's true. Did you actually consciously think of that?
Yeah, old blue eyes. That was it. And then there was another thought, like I'm from New York, so he's, New York.
And you kind of talk like him in a way.
Yeah,
really.
Bit, yeah.
But you don't like Frank Sinatra music?
I don't want
Please
to say
tell
that
me
publicly.
you do.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Really? Okay, I don't like it. I was hoping you didn't like it either.
No, I couldn't even name one song. I don't. I feel like he's another person who's like an idea, not necessarily a talent. Did you see A Star Is Born?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Love that movie, by the
great
way.
Movie. Yeah.
But when, Lady Gaga's father is talking to her and he's like, Frank Sinatra, I knew guys who could sing him under the table, but for some reason when he went on stage, he became Frank Sinatra.
Right.
He had that thing about him. So there's, there's something to that unnameable quality or characteristic that people have that I think Tank Sinatra conjures up. I'm not trying to step into Frank Sinatra's shoes, but it is a catchy Instagram thing.
Oh, it's so memorable. My gosh. Great move. I'm going to read something to you that I copied down from reading up on you. You said, quote you, life is complicated, and I prefer digging into the corners where you see people struggling and bring them some humor there.
Yeah.
Do you dig into the corners on a personal basis with your friends, or you're more comfortable living online and digging into corners?
No, anything that happens online is a reflection of the way that I actually live my life.
So there's no separation there at all. What you see there is what you get if I'm living in your house with you.
I'm probably even a little bit more of who I am online in real life. So I think I'm funnier in real life. Who knows if that's true or not. And I think I'm more serious in real life because you have, online you get a split-second glimpse into someone's personality.
But it speaks volumes the way you read it.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes.
It's authentic to who I am, and it's the tip of the iceberg. So the tip of the iceberg is still the iceberg. It's just, it's just what you can see.
Yes.
But it's more ice underneath. Like I'm more of what I am online in real life. There's no difference. I wouldn't be putting on a persona of any sort.
Yeah, I just sitting here with you, I couldn't imagine you having a single air to put on in any situation. I'm sure you're consistently yourself, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
You know what else I'm picking up from you sitting here with you? Is I think you must have an extremely high IQ.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that.
Now, what do you think about that? Have you ever tested your IQ?
I had it tested when I was younger, and I'm never going to get it tested again because it was very high.
It was super high off the charts, right? I could feel your intelligence, like, whoom. So you get into the dirty little corners of life and really uncover what you uncover, but you also have Tank Good News.
Yes.
How did that happen, and what's that about?
Oh,
and
man.
Is it as powerful as your humor in your other platform?
I'd say Tank's Good News is probably, aside from getting sober and getting married and having kids, the best thing that I've ever done. Because I always sought out the positive in life because it's hard to just be miserable, let's be honest. It's really hard to be unhappy. It's very difficult. It's stressful. You die sooner. You enjoy your life less. I don't know if I get one life or not, but I'm operating like I do. So the one that I have, I want to enjoy as much as possible. So I always sought out the positive. And starting that page just made me get more disciplined and deliberate about seeking the good that happened in the world today. Like, I can't not do it now because 1 point whatever million people are depending on me to give them the good news.
Yeah.
So something happened when I started that page, and ingesting good news is one thing. Input versus output. So like, people would take in the good news, but then people started writing me within a few days, sending me stuff that they found.
That was also good, or
Yeah, and I
just
was like,
your good news?
No, they were like, here's an article I found that I think is great, and I was like, holy crap, this ripple is...
So you found your people.
Yeah.
But why is it that people don't post good news frequently? Or even talk it much? What's that about with humankind?
I have no idea. I think that it probably... I've researched it a little bit. I'm not smart enough to understand the real research, but I think
bet you are.
Maybe if I really tried. But I think it has something to do with, from what I understand, evolution and the way the brain works. The brain registers threats more permanently than it does things that go right. So if you were, let's say, a caveman walking down a path and you saw a snake, your brain would log that information in a way that, like, you would not go down that path again. If you did, you'd be very careful, and you're going to go back to the cave and tell all your caveman friends, like, don't go down that path, there was a rattlesnake. So people spread bad news because I think the intentions are pure. I think people think that they're doing their friends a favor. True, I really do. Like, but they're not. They're just spreading, a lot of times, misinformation, which, especially on Facebook. The amount of misinformation that's spread on Facebook, all you have to do is look at the URL.
Yeah.
If it's, if it's a legitimate news source, cool. If it's democratsaresstupid.com or conservativesareidiots.com, like,
You get the labeling right away.
don't spread something like that, But that's me, and I understand that not everyone in the world operates like me, and I'm fine with that. I learn a lot from people how to act and how not to act. So, but I think that people, I don't think they enjoy good news. I think they don't know any better, and they're addicted to the adrenaline spike that they get when they get a piece of bad news, and then they have like a little, it's almost like gossiping has shifted online, and now it's not information about friend groups, it's information about a company or a person in the public eye. It's another form of gossip.
I remember when I was hiring tons and tons of salespeople, building my business for the first 4 years, I used to hire a negative person or sales talent, and I would be convinced I could make them happy. But I found after a while, 2 years, I'd never hired a miserable person again. They just sucked the energy out of the whole company. Yeah, it was just terrible. But people gravitate toward bad news. I've noticed that. Yeah,
it's just detrimental, and I don't know if people can't help it. They don't enjoy it. They just are drawn to it because they want to be safe, and they think that if they pay attention to all the threats, then they'll be safe.
That makes sense. Best explanation I've ever heard, actually. Yeah, good for you. Okay. So sometimes you use humor. You said from your childhood you learned to use humor as a defense against the bullies.
Yeah.
What's that about, and was that a big piece of you going into this line of work?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I would be doing anything like this if I wasn't a fat kid. Any of it. Yeah, I don't think I'd have any personality or any kind of coping mechanisms or sense of humor. I think that adversity, which is why, like, I don't know, I have kids now, so obviously I don't want them to be bullied, but I don't think
Are they fat kids?
No, the kids are,
Okay.
they're only 6 and 2, the 2-year-olds.
Oh,
Not as fat as I would like. I wish he was a little fatter, to be honest with you. But I don't think bullying is the worst thing in the world. From my experience, because you're going to experience adversity in your life, and when you're a child, the stakes are a lot lower. There's not a job at stake. There's not a marriage at stake. It's just kids being kids. So if you can...
Well, it depends on how your kid's wired and how they internalize
Yes,
it.
Yeah. I mean, I was a very, very sensitive kid. Very sensitive. I took everything personally. I didn't think I was worth any kind of love or acceptance from anybody, friends or romantically. I just didn't think I deserved it.
Well, you've turned that corner, baby.
Yeah, thank God.
No doubt about it.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Just last week, actually.
No, I doubt that very much.
But I think that any kind of adversity, people can be cruel, and if you can learn to deal with the cruelty of somebody when you're a kid, you have a better chance of dealing with it when you get older, because you are going to come up against it for sure.
Well said.
I wouldn't push my kids into a situation where they were going to
You
be...
wouldn't protect them. If they came home and said, "Dad, a bully's really picking on me," you'd say, "Handle it yourself, kid."
I'd say handle it yourself, and it says a lot more about him than it does you. Don't take it personally, because it's not you. It's probably something going on in his life. And my parents told me that when I was younger, but I didn't get it until later. But the seeds were planted, which is all you can do.
Makes sense. So your new book is called Happy is the New Rich. How did you come up with that title?
That's actually the old book.
Oh, that's the old book?
Yeah, that's the old book.
I'm sorry. Your
It's
new
okay.
book title is what?
Go to Bed Angry.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, what a funny title.
Barbara, you want to restate that so your new book is called?
Oh, you mean I shouldn't look that dumb? Okay.
No, nobody would know. Yeah, Happy is the New Rich. We can talk about that one if you want, though.
So you have two
Just
books,
the title.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, you have two books. The first title is Happy is the New Rich. What a fabulous title. It sticks with you. And your second book, your newest book, is called?
Go to Bed Angry.
Another great title.
Yeah.
How do you come up with these titles? It's half the success of a book is the title, I believe.
Yeah, they say don't judge a book by its cover.
No, it's not
impossible.
true. They should throw that out, right?
They should. Just like don't go to bed angry. Bad advice.
Yeah, very bad
Judge
advice,
a book
but
by its
stays
cover.
with you, yeah.
Yeah.
But your books are selling so well. They have from the get-go.
Yeah.
Do you think it's half because of the title? Well, in a way, your title is another meme, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a short, little, concise bit of information that either... You know, I don't think I'm for everybody, but I think that the people who are exposed to me and who do get a glimpse of me, the ones who are for me know it right away.
And they fall in love, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they don't become followers. They become instant fans, as you said earlier, right?
At this point, yeah. In the beginning, it was all followers. Now it's a little different.
Does anything embarrass you?
Now?
Yeah.
No, not really.
That's what I expected you to say.
In the past, yeah, I'd get embarrassed over
I don't
everything.
care about it, but the past is the past. You've turned that corner.
It's very hard to embarrass. I mean, I'm sweating like a pig right now, but
That's because you got bright lights on.
I do not care.
You're talking.
But it's not embarrassing. It's human nature.
So you're hearing now from Tank Sinatra, and I should have said your name 50 times so then we'll plug it in. That's always useful, right? And what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And probably one of the smartest men I've ever interviewed.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. And
I'm
my
gonna need
very
that as a
last
clip.
question, where is the whole idea of memes headed? 5 years out.
Oh my God, 5 years is a long time in internet
2 years
time.
out.
2 years out, I think there's always gonna be new formats coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people are going to become a little bit more willing to take risks. Everything is very, like, can't say.
Day to day, people will be willing to take risks, or you're talking about from your space as a meme?
Yeah, from like meme makers, comedians, entertainers, stuff like that. Because it's so everything is so you can't say anything and people get upset. I think that we've swung as far left on the pendulum as we could possibly swing.
And you think it's really going to swing the other direction?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would love it, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not expecting that.
No,
Why?
it definitely has to.
Why would people be more forgiving, more open?
Because they will be they'll realize people grow. So in 2 years, the people who are acting like this now, have you ever looked back on a Facebook post from 2 years ago and you're
Yes.
like, oh my God,
I know.
what was I thinking?
I know.
I think there's going to be a lot of that. And I think there's going to be a lot of people loosening up. And I think Gen Z, who's the youngest of the generations right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Gen Z is the youngest.
I think that they are seeing what kind of turmoil being rigid can bring to a society.
And how much it's not any fun.
It's no fun. And I don't think, have you ever read Harrison Bergeron?
Never have, no.
It's a Kurt Vonnegut short story. And it's basically about a totally equal society
Oh, God.
and how boring and lame and really sad it is. The ballerinas have sandbags on them. The intelligent people who test high on an IQ test have an earpiece that makes loud noises so they don't think straight.
Oh, crazy.
It's like physical constraints on natural talents, and everybody wants equal opportunity. Black people, gay people, white, tall, short, trans, whatever. Everyone deserves the right to a happy life, but equality it's an ideal that I don't think people have really thought through that much. And I think the beauty of humankind is in the diversity and the innate abilities of others versus the innate abilities of others. Like
You're celebrating it.
I celebrate it all the way.
But most people are afraid of it.
Yeah, I think those people are also kind of dying out. I think that they'll, in a few years, be embarrassed of how unaccepting they were of certain viewpoints and people. And at some point, you just have to say, my world in reality is very small, and I keep that clean. And I think that personal responsibility will lead towards letting other people be who they are. Because if you're taking care of yourself, you assume that other people are doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, you think that nobody is.
Well said.
I think that's the problem.
You know what we have here today? Yeah, we're going to wrap it up, right? She's been signaling me. But he's too interesting to wrap up. I've been ignoring you on purpose. That's the truth, Lila. Too bad on you. But what we have here is probably the most intelligent man I've ever interviewed. I say that again. One of the funniest guys. One of the happiest guys, that's another conversation. If you're a comedian, you're supposed to be depressed. I don't know why that's not the case with you, okay? But a phenomenal success story with 2 million followers in a short period of time,
yeah.
And a guy that the whole world's in love with. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
My pleasure.